This is an interesting predicament. Carnation City Mall is now closed, and it will no longer exist in a few months. When I visited in 2021, I was surprised to find any signs of life, really. But malls like these tend to fight all the way to the bitter end. Join me for one more walk in the Carnation City Mall. Carnation City Mall originally began life in 1983, opening with JCPenney and Kmart as its original anchor stores. At the time, the mall was simply named Carnation Mall, but did boast a period of success throughout the 80s and 90s, even gaining a connected hotel around 1988. The mall was touted in controversies as the killer of downtown, though in retrospect, it appears that the death of downtown was largely exaggerated, as it eventually became a center for the arts and history. Carnation Mall was able to weather the arrival of Walmart, which was speculated to suck the air out of the room at the time. And while some businesses did fail under Walmart's arrival in the 90s, the mall still held strong as its tenants found ways to adapt and change. However, around the turn to 2000, things would already begin to tank as Kmart fled the mall in 2000. However, this was mitigated by Elder-Beerman coming to take its place. Like many malls, Carnation City Mall would begin its slow and steady decline over the 2000s, and while the mall was able to attract the likes of a Dunham Sports, it was unfortunately a losing battle as it entered the 2010s. It's difficult to tell what killed the Carnation City Mall, but some digging shows that the town of Alliance appears to be on a slow decline as people trickle away from the town. Unemployment numbers don't paint a good picture either, and while the numbers aren't terrible, Alliance does have a bit of a crime rate going on. Couple that with better shopping options towards Canton, and Carnation City Mall just couldn't compete anymore. Elder-Beerman would close its doors for the last time in 2018 as its parent company entered liquidation. And in 2020, JCPenney would shut its doors as it too entered bankruptcy, although the company still lives today. Considering the state of Carnation City Mall, it's a wonder it reopened at all. However, to its credit, it still hosted a hotel, a Dunham Sports, and a cinema when I arrived in September 2021. Enter 2022, and the mall is under new ownership after who knows how many changes. Fairmont Properties owns the property and has been working with the City Council of Alliance to redevelop the mall into a strip mall anchored by a Meijer. Dunham Sports will remain a part of the plan and will relocate into the JCPenney building. It seems like the Carnation has wilted, but has potential to bloom into something new once more. For most of us, the closure of Carnation City Mall came out of left field. Some of us didn't even know that Alliance was trying to see the property redeveloped. Although it's a shame to see the Carnation City Mall go, at least the land and part of the building will still see use in the future, rather than sitting around like a blighted space. Although I do wish this mall could have seen some preservation. Of course, I'm probably one of the only people left that liked the sky blue ceilings and the earthy brown floor tiles. And perhaps one of the only ones willing to look past those big tarps that empty out into a collection of buckets. One thing I cannot ignore, however, is the absolute state of the parking lot. I'm fairly certain I lost the game of parking lot minesweeper here and bent a rim. because a week later, I got the tire pressure warning, even though all my tires still looked inflated. Yeah, I got the dreaded pinhole leak. Probably also a bad time to mention I was on bald tires for this adventure. But enough of that, back to the mall. That parking lot would have had to have been addressed and repaired even if the mall itself were to remain. You saw it in the once around. You even heard it, I'm sure. That thing needs to be fixed. Nonetheless, I am glad I paid a visit to this mall. Even if it's well known, it's not one that gets talked about all that much. And I liked it. It's not easy to explain with the dead malls, since I've noticed that some just don't get it. But the best way I can think of to explain it is to paraphrase that meme of Jeremy Clarkson. For example, Belden Village Mall is brilliant, but I like Carnation City Mall. Yes, it's dead, only has a handful of stores, and the roof is leaking, and there's a stuffed bear that one of my friends got scared into thinking was someone in a fursuit, but I like it nonetheless. I'm probably still not explaining it that well. Oh well. Either way, none of that really matters anymore since this mall is closed. No one's going to be able to visit it again, and it's not going to exist for much longer. But enough about me. What did you think of the Carnation City Mall? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you have memories growing up and going to this mall? Why not share in the comments below? Thanks for having me, Alliance Ohio, and until next time, this is Doomie Grunt wishing you and the Carnation City Mall farewell. Good morning, everybody. It's time for another game of Parking Lot Minesweeper.